Hello and welcome to Blinkers Off. Great to be back for another show. And it's that time of the year where it's Ipswich Cup Day. Get on down to Ipswich or Bundown where it's great fun. It's wild, it's mad, it's insane. And as usual, I'm joined by our big-time footy coach Ben Perkins, racing editor Brad Davidson, and our racing reporter Lorena Tourman. Firstly, Ben, Ipswich Cup Day, it's big, it's wild, it's mad. Have you been out to one?
Yes, I've been to several, Jesse. They're different, they are, but I was always in the members' stand, as you can understand.
Oh, of course.
But I always remember Atropine, trained by the great late Ted Cameron, winning at 8-1, and I won thousands of dollars on him. And the very next year, I had to hitchhike home after race 5 because I was penniless.
All right, I'm also joined by Brad Davidson. Welcome, Brad.
Jess, how are we? Benny, forget about the Ipswich Cup. Viewers, it's all about the World Cup, and the Socceroos, the mighty Socceroos, kick off their campaign tomorrow morning against Chile. I know there's been a lot of negative talk around, but who knows? We surprised a few 8 years ago, and why can't we again? Let's go Socceroos.
Let's go the Aussies then as well.
Oh, wait a second. I just want to say that it's just wonderful that Bradley's finally found his game. The game where they fall over and scream in agony. That's you, Bradley.
What's your game? Lawn bowls or croquet, Benny?
I think I'm more of an AFL and golf man myself.
Very good.
All right, AFL and golf, eh? All right, and I'm also joined by our racing reporter, Lorena. Welcome, Lorena.
Thank you, Jess. Always good to be here.
Now, there's been plenty of news around the country and around the world in racing. What's been happening?
Okay, well, it could be a star-studded lineup at this year's Cox Plate at Moonee Valley. Rated the world's best horse, Just Away heads the invitation list of international horses and is one of 10 who have been offered a fully subsidised trip to Australia to compete in the $3 million race. 3 invites have gone to Hong Kong's John Moore for Dan Excel, Designs on Rome and Military Attack. Others include Frankel's brother Noble Mission, Irish Derby winner Trading Leather and Dubai World Cup winner African Story. Shrikandi is now likely to run in the Group 1 Tattersalls Tiara at Eagle Farm on Saturday week. Trainer Kieran Maher said Shrikandi would go to the paddock after she finished 3rd in the Stradbroke, but he's since had a change of heart after she pulled up from the run so well. South Australia's leading trainer Philip Stokes now has Spring Carnival in his sights with Hucklebuck after an unsuccessful 2-start Queensland campaign. He said Hucklebuck would spell in the warmer climate in Queensland before he comes back to Adelaide and prepares for another Melbourne campaign. Country trainers stand to gain a $16 million increase to prize money should the New South Wales Baird government bring the wagering tax into line with rival states. While most of the funding debate has focused on championships at Royal Randwick, the country sector could stand to receive a multi-million-dollar prize money injection. And good luck to Victorian apprentice Jessica Payne, who departed Melbourne on Tuesday for France, where she rides in the Pre-Longines Future Stars race at Chantilly on Sunday night. And not so good news for Grafton-based apprentice Casey Stanley, who will be out of action for an extended period after suffering facial and internal injuries after a nasty fall at Ballina last Monday. Also, best wishes to Chad Schofield, who will be sidelined for at least a few months after fracturing his neck in a 3-horse pile-up at Cranbourne last Sunday. Jess.
Thanks, Lorena. Righto, it's eyeliner race we're going to preview. Brad, it's a nice little race, quite open, bit tricky, or how do you see the race panning out?
I think first of all, viewers, you've got to realise that Ipswich, the big tip that I'd give anyone out there betting is you've got to be in there.
Don't drink and drive.
Well, don't drink and drive first of all, but I think you've got to be up there because it's a tight turning track. There's not a big straight, and I'd want to be up there. So that's why I'm going for Black Cash. I think he's going to get the perfect run just off the speed, maybe box seat. He's really good in the QTC Cup the other day when 3 wide throughout. So he's going to, I think he's the one. Masthead's probably the best horse in the race, but the wide barrier, I don't know where he's going to end up. Alma's Fury next best and Into the Red also for 4th.
You know, I kind of agree with you there. I think Masthead and Black Cash, they're the 2 horses that they're going to fight it out. I think it's a good Quinella.
Yep.
I think Black Cash drawn the 1's going to have that added advantage over Masthead, who's drawn 12, and might be pushing, burning a bit more juice early, and Black Cash might be able to just get over the top of him in the last 50. That's what I'm thinking.
There's, you know, like it's not a bad start there, the 1350 at Ipswich, but you know, barrier 13, I just don't know where Masthead's going to end up, and for that reason, we know Black Cash is going to be probably behind the lead and going to get every favour.
Righto, Benny, what do you like?
Well, I think Brad's making Masthead's case a little bit even harder than what it really is because it's got gate 12 and Muntz He knows this track. What they do is they take off at the 4X sign around the 600 metre mark, and this horse with the Waller polish, he's got the ability to do that, and Bunce can get him home. He's got the best form. I thought Into the Red, the Kelso Wood horse, David Devine, Neville Morgan, I think it's going to get a really, really good run, and should be around 12, 14 to 1. I think it's the value runner, and then like you, I went for the same as you with Black Cash and Alma's Fury as good first four hopes.
Yeah, I just think it's a pretty sort of open and shut sort of, when you do the form, Marshead and Black Cash, they look to be the two best horses in the race, and I think they're going to be fighting it out. But I think, as Ben mentioned, he mentioned one here, Into the Red. It'll be a rough chance at odds, I feel, and we're just going to. I think we're just going to take a look at its last start run here. We're going to take a look at Into the Red. He's highlighted. Here we are watching Into the Red.
Leads from Havana, Dothraki, Into the Red coming up wide. Then came Miss Hassan, Safeguard, gets into the clear, starts the run on. Hucklebuck immediately under pressure, grabbed by Dothraki. Into the Red on the outside, up on the inside Havana. Then Miss Hassan and Safeguard. Here's the big finish coming up. Dothraki into the Red and Havana. Havana on the inside. Snatch the lead, and Havana makes amends for last week. Havana beat Into the Red, Dothraki.
All right, Ben, there you saw Into the Red. It was a very good run. He was 3 wide the whole way, and he fought on well, and I think you've put up a good case for him.
Mate, he's improved this time in. Last time in, he was all over the place, but he really has matured, and Kelso Wood, he's got a very high opinion of this horse.
Now, Lorena, you got a little bit more news for us about...
Something that some of our viewers might like to attend. Newcastle Jockey Club are holding a once-in-a-lifetime event for champion jockey Robert Thompson. He's achieved 4,000 wins in 40 years.
He has.
Quite remarkable. It will be on the 2nd of July at the Crown Plaza Hotel. Tickets are $150, includes dinner entertainment, and can be purchased from the Newcastle Jockey Club.
And Lorena, Robert Thompson, he's won on our horse 4 times, so we've played a little percentage in that 4,000 wins. Now, just before we go to a break, we're just On Track Racing Tours. They've got a tour over to Hong Kong from the 9th of December to the 14th of December. It's 6 nights. It's a wonderful trip. I'll be going. Hopefully you can come and join me on the tour. It's wonderful. Lankan Rupee is going to be racing in the race, and it's going to be a wonderful trip. Grant Morgan, he runs it, and On Track do a wonderful job, and I'm looking forward to it in the 9th. And any inquiries, just send us an email at studio@blinkersoff.com.au, and we hope to see you there. So sit back and lock the doors. We've got plenty more coming up. This is Blinkers Off. I'm joined by Paul Knight. Welcome, my friend.
Jess, lovely to be here after a marathon 2 weeks of selling down here at the Gold Coast.
Tell me overall, how did the sale end up?
Jess, it has been a really amazing 2 weeks of selling down here. The first week was the weanlings and the broodmares. The weanlings grossed $15.5 million. The broodmares grossed $69.5 million, and it was just a phenomenal week of selling that week. I mean, to go through that was just amazing. Then this week we've had the yearlings and the racehorses, and the yearlings grossed $10.5 million, and the racehorses at the end of Friday grossed another $500,000. So all up, the sales grossed $96 million. It's been really, really good, successful sale.
What's your feedback from the vendors been like?
It's been very good. I mean, so far the feedback's been very good. I mean, as I said, the weanling and the broodmare sale was very positive. Yearlings, I mean, there was some. I mean, the clearance rate got up to the mid-70s and that, but it could have been a bit higher. I mean, through the weanlings and the broodmares, we're up in the 80 and 90% clearance rate, which is just phenomenal. I mean, the yearlings could have been a bit better, but I mean, sometimes. We just can't find homes for some of these yearlings for different reasons. I mean, we try our hardest, but sometimes we just can't meet the market all the time.
Well, overall, it's been an absolute wonderful sale, and congratulations to yourself and the team. But more importantly, the Blues and the Maroons, I think the Divine Nine just might not eventuate.
Well, you never know your luck in the big smoke, Jess. I mean, the bashed up Blues and the mangled Maroons. I mean, next Wednesday night it'll be game on, bring it on, game 2. And I hear that when the Maroons win the 9th series, and that you'll be wearing a Queensland jersey for the rest of the series, and I believe the rest of your life. You'll be getting a tattoo on your arm as well, my friend.
Well, I say I'll only be wearing a jersey, 1, if they win, and 2, if you provide it. So if there's one not provided, I'll be wearing a Blues one. I can guarantee you that.
We'll provide one for you, Jess. I'm sure we can find one out there for you, and it'll go well with your complexion. Have a look at that. You go better with maroon than you do blue, son.
Game on. Thanks, Paul.
Pleasure, Jess. Thanks, mate.
Okay, we're going to take a look at the Ipswich Cup now, but just before we do, are you coming on the tour? A few of your crew, like you mentioned, Devine and Lee
Matthews and Neville Morgan.
They've all been on it.
Well, I'm telling you what, I'm sure that there'll be a lot of listeners out there who'll insist on dragging me along.
Well, there you go. Righto, if you tip the Ipswich Cup, we can maybe get you there. Righto, Brad, what do you like here?
I'm going with Grey Assignment, the local boy.
Jeez.
I just think he got great stats around Ipswich. Good stats at the distance, going to get the perfect run here. Forgive last start, he was back in distance, 18 back to 15. Just put a line through it, don't worry about it. Back up to the 2150 or 22, whatever it is.
2150.
2150. I think he's going to be, like I said, he's going to get the perfect run, and I think he's going to run a bold race. Einstein for second, hasn't won since November 2011, so it's hard to put him on top, but ran home well the other day. Brave Ali for third. If it ends up a heavy track, he's going to be the one. And High Aims is the other one. If it's a heavy track, she's probably the one I want to be backing.
Well, just on Grey Assignment there, he's ridden by Larry, a usual one of our hosts that usually pops into the studio. Just in mentioning that, 6 behind Streamer, only beaten 4.7 lengths. It's not bad form.
Well, that was it. And that was weight for age in the Hollandale. So you look at that, it's very good form. Like I said, forgive last start. I hate horses coming back in distance. It was obviously, have a nice run there under the belt for the Ipswich Cup. So big chance at odds, double figure odds.
All right, there's one at huge odds here called Angola. We're going to take a look at its last start run here. Quite an interesting sort of preparation it's had. Not what you'd call a stayer's prep, but here we are. We're just going to take a look at Angola running its last start against Angel and Mercy.
They've gone strongly in front. Loaded picking up again. Followed then by Cameo. All Night Saint wistful to the outside. Angel of Mercy was pinching inside runs. Wider was Starchiato. There's a little gap for Angel of Mercy. I see her bounding through. 100 metres left to go. She ran to the lead, but Wistful runs on well. Angel of Mercy in front. Wistful charging late. Photo finish.
Yeah, there you saw it. Look, it wasn't the most impressive of runs, but it was wide a lot of the way. It would be much better suited over the 2150. We're going to take a look at another runner in the race in Brave Ali. This horse is going to go to the front. It's had 5 weeks off. It's going to be very hard to beat. I'm selecting it to win. I think it'll go straight to the front and just keep on running. It'll do a Vo Rogue here. And here we are. We're going to take a look at Brave Ali.
Then was Eight's a Party who's been deep. Then Rayburn, Perfect Start, Arctic Post Restorer and Heartfelt Quest whipped them in. Heading down the side, 500 metres left to run. Brave Ali in front of Zadista off the fence to tackle her. Carmore is coming up deeper. Lauren Tater and Pretty Pin saving ground to the fence. Where's his favourite Dan Chai? Pulled wide by Rawilla. In the straight, Brave Ali led. Pretty Pin's got a saloon run through to come after and tackle her. They're followed then by Lauren Tater and Dan Chai down the outside. Pretty Pin's the leader. Dan Chai's trying hard. Pretty Pin shot away. Got a winning break. Pretty Pins is home. Pretty Pins beat Dan Chai. Brave Ali third. Lauren Tate fourth.
Ben, just looking at the run there, it led all the way. It's a front runner. It's going to be hard to run down at Ipswich.
Well, it's conceivable. I do give it some hope. I don't like 5 weeks off myself. I think this race is just made for Einstein.
Hasn't won for almost 3 years, Benny.
With full of spirit.
3 years.
With full of
you
spirit.
couldn't back it. You couldn't back it. You couldn't back it.
You couldn't back it.
No, you couldn't back it.
I think you've got to back it.
You can't back it after 3 years.
Because when you go through all the form of these horses,
60-second start. Is that a lucky number, like 17?
Yeah,
is that
make a case for that one, Benny.
60-second start wins every time?
Had the build-up which is a nice conventional build-up that Einstein's had. And I think Gerald Ryan has this race at his mercy with Einstein, because Peter Moody's taken out the only danger, which was Full of Spirit. So I say Einstein will win.
But why? How? It hasn't won for 3
Go
years.
through these horses.
November 2011
They haven't
was the
had
last win.
They haven't had the. Look at Angola's had one start.
Yeah, but I don't
This
think
time
it'll win.
in
I think
and
it's huge
thrashed.
odds. Huge
I mean,
odds.
Grey Simon, what is it, 14 or 15 years old now?
7.
Give break.
7.
Please. Mate, everyone
Einstein's 8.
Yeah,
Einstein's
there
8.
you go. Just show your argument then, haven't you?
lightly raced.
60 seconds. You're showing your age, mate.
I'm telling you, I think
60
Einstein will
seconds
win
start.
this race, and I think it's a good bet.
I don't. Righto. I like Brave Ali. I think this horse, as I mentioned, will go to the front. You saw in the footage there, it's a front runner. There's not many front runners in this race. It'll dictate pace. Tegan Harrison on board. She's riding in great form, 56.5. It'll carry the weight, no problem. Look, 5 weeks off, slight query. Again, it's not the most conventional sort of staying preparation you like in your stayers. But look, Tony Gollan, there's no doubting this man's ability. He's one of the great up-and-coming trainers here in Brisbane, if not the most up-and-coming. Tegan Harrison, it's going to run. It's had 11 starts at the distance for 6 wins and 2 seconds. Yeah, you got to like it. You got to have something on it for sure. So I'm tipping Brave Ali as the best bet on the program each way. Yeah, best bet each way.
That's a brave call.
It'll go to the front and it'll just keep on giving, I reckon, without a doubt.
I've put it in for third. So, you know.
It does like a bit of cut out of the ground as well. So if showers come tomorrow, definitely a big chance.
Yeah, no, I think it's a big hope. And I'm happy to be on it and I'm happy to backing it each way. Righto, it's that time of the show where it's on track, where I talk best bets with Grant Morgan. And welcome to our new segment On Track, where I'm joined by form analyst Grant Morgan. Welcome, Grant.
Great to be back, Jess.
Always great to have you here. And last week, Cape Kidnappers, best bet, got the chocolates. Unlucky Lime Hills, the one to follow. Bit unlucky, I thought. But this week, Ipswich Cup, what are your best bets?
Jess, we go straight to the Gay Waterhouse with Jazz Song. Mick Price is good filly from Melbourne. She's had 2 runs in Queensland now. I think she's well acclimatised. Has Jim Byrne in the saddle on Saturday at Ipswich. Strikes a fairly moderate Gay Waterhouse. It's a fairly average sort of listed race and looks ripe for the picking for this nice Fastnet Rock filly from the Mick Price stable. So that's Jazz Song in the Gay Waterhouse, Jess.
It definitely looks like he's brought this up to get a bit of black type for her.
Yeah, she's already got black type, but obviously every bit of line on that pedigree page helps. And to me, this filly's got that race at a mercy.
And your other best for the program?
We go to the Sacred Star form, Jess. We've talked a lot about Sacred Star. He ran a terrific race, I thought, in the Stradbroke after being, given not much chance being back in a very slowly run race. But we go to Masthead in the Eyeliner Stakes. Hasn't drawn terribly well. Is a bit of a concern, barrier 12, but has C months in the saddle. Rides Ipswich very well. I think he's just got to hold his form to win the race. The Sacred Star form looks too good for these, so we'll go with Masthead from the Chris Waller stable in the Eyeliner.
Now you got one more for the punters. Are we guaranteed? Could this be the get out of jail card?
Well, it could be. Look, he can be a bit of an enigmatic galloper. I'll spit that out as architect in the last race, Jess. Once again with Chris Muntz in the saddle. Chris doesn't normally ride this horse. Andrew Spinks normally rides him, so I quite like that change. He was very close up in the QTC Cup, again behind Sacred Star last start. Goes back from open company Group 2 sprinters to 3-year-olds in a cutest level race, drawn barrier 5. Gee, I think he should be getting the money.
Sounds like he'll be very hard to beat. Well, they're your best. And again, thanks for joining us, Grant.
Thanks, Jess. Great to be here.
Now lock the doors and sit back. There's plenty more coming up with Sports Talk. This is Blinkers Off. It's that time of the show where it's Sports Talk. Righto, firstly we're going to get into AFL. Firstly we're going to look at the prices of the week. Bet easy there. The game we're going to preview is Sydney versus Port, and as you can see there, Sydney at $1.48, Port $2.65. You'd have to say, Brad, $2.65 is not a bad sort of price there for Port.
It isn't a bad price, is it, at all?
I mean, they're top of the table.
They are.
They're 260. Not
They
many
are.
places you'll get that.
I think that price is more about how Sydney have been going lately, haven't they? Their last 2 wins have been pretty good, and people probably underestimate how hard it is to win on the Gold Coast, so that was pretty good as well.
Righto, Ben. Your team, Port, are they going to get beat up at the SCG? I see you wrote during the week, you've sort of mentioned Sydney might be a bit too... Well, Port's game plan might be a bit stunted at the SCG.
That's my theory. I think that you want to have an advantage in sports. Now, Port Adelaide's advantage is their pace around the field and getting to open spaces with their fast legs, whereas the Sydney SCG doesn't allow it to happen because it's a much more confined space. So to me, that gives Sydney's slightly bigger bodies a really big advantage over Port Adelaide, and if they can just get that ball into Reid and Franklin, with one kick, with Kennedy and Hanbury and so forth, banging it in long, I think Port's in trouble, and I'd much rather back Port Adelaide at the MCG at the end of the year.
We're looking forward to the game. Do you agree with what he's saying?
It's a good point. I don't agree with you often, Benny, but I think you're right. When teams go away to the SCG, they've got to adapt to a different style of football because it is a lot shorter, and you got a good point there, Benny.
2 kicks and you're in the forward line, really, at the SCG. MCG 3.
Well, the SCG, they know how to play it best.
Yeah. All right, we're going to talk NRL. We're going to have a look at a few prices. Here we are with the NRL. Two of the games we're going to look at here are the Bulldogs versus Parramatta, and there you can see Canterbury $1.60, bit short for me. I kind of fancy Parramatta at $2.30, and Penrith and St George, Penrith $1.28, Saints $3.65. Now, first game we're going to look at is Canterbury and Parramatta. All right, with Damien Cook and Rene Matui replacing Trent Hodgkinson and Josh Reynolds in the halves there. It's a big loss for Canterbury. They're going to find it tough, and the Roosters found them out last start with those 2 missing, and those halves are playing a big part. But Parramatta, they're missing Jared Hayne and Will Hopewadi as well. They're also missing Willie Tonga, who's in the 22 name for Queensland. So that's an even more of an out for Para. So on that proviso, I'm going to have to tip Canterbury. Now, the other game we're looking at is Penrith versus St George. Simmons is out, and also Adam Docker, he's being rested. I kind of fancy St George here at $3.65 with Bet Easy. I think
with Gus Gould.
I can't stand him.
No, I love Gus Gould.
No,
Gus
I can't
Gould,
stand him.
He's terrific.
He's not terrific.
He's fantastic.
He repeats the stuff over and over again on Channel 9. I'll get Grant back on here to tell you that.
When Gus Gould speaks, he says exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, that's why you're not backing winners. And Gus Gould doesn't back.
No, he's a smart man. He's a very smart man.
Look, in fairness to Penrith, they've got Jamie Soward who's playing sensational. They've also got Isaac Yeo, who's replaced Idris, who's doing a fantastic job. So, look, they are doing well. They're on top of the ladder, in fairness. But I think at the odds at $3.65, even though Saints have losing Dugan to Origin duties, I'm going to take a bit of $3.65 on Bet Easy against Penrith. Now it's the World Cup. We're going to have a look at a few games on the weekend. Here we are. We're going to take a look, and there Australia, $7. Great value. And the other teams in the comp, Brazil, $1.30. Geez, you'd almost be tempted to take that Bet Easy, $1.30 Brazil against Croatia, $11. But firstly, the mighty Australia. We're playing Chile. Brad, how do you see the game, eh?
It's going to be tough for us, I must admit. But look, the problem with the Aussies have got is the defence. The defence, we've got a pretty weak defence. That's our Achilles heel. Yeah. But saying that, Matt Ryan, the goalkeeper, everyone was saying when Schwarzer was gone that we're going to be in trouble. But he was voted the best goalkeeper in Belgium this year. So that's a positive. And also, who can forget Timmy Cahill, the magic man? He's just so good in the air, and we're always a threat when we got him up there, I think.
Weren't some people saying that Chile could actually win the whole event?
No, not possible.
Well, it's tough. I mean, I think they're ranked 14th or 13th in the world. So we've got such a tough group. But I think we're lucky that we played Spain last. Where last time we played Germany first up. We got beaten 4-0. It took the stuffing out of the whole thing. So at least we've got a chance here. If we can come off with a draw, it puts a bit of enthusiasm in it. If we win, even better. But yeah, we'll see how we go.
Look, I agree. I think it's $7. No one expected us to be there against Italy in 2010, was it, or 2008?
Before that bloomin' dive.
Yeah, the old loss to the dive. But Lorena, bet easy. They've got some specials going.
Well, I've got a very good reason why you should be backing our boys. They're a good Aussie company, of course, and they're backing them. And they're offering a $50 free bet on our boys in Brazil every time they play. So that's a bit of a win-win, but remember to gamble responsibly.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to have a little bit on Australia at the $7, Brad. Now, the other thing we're going to look at now, the other game is the US Open. Ben, your sort of sport, you're always on Twitter there talking about beautiful birds and beautiful, eating the ducks on the golf course.
And the geese, yes. Well, that's what I do. I just wander in the golf course in my cart. I have all the sandwiches and I just feed them to the birds.
Now, tell me,
love it.
Is Adam Scott value at $13?
Well, he is in some ways because he's number one in the world. So if you're number one in the world at anything and you're getting better than even money, well...
That's good value.
Well, he's some value at that price. See, this golf course is all about being able to get up and down because it's very, very tough. So you want the four players I've singled out.
Played on?
Pinehurst. Now, the four players I've got singled out here are Adam Scott, Jason Day, who's around the $30 mark. He's coming into form, and I did have a game during the week with one of his coaches, and he assures me his finger's getting a lot better and he's confident of a good showing. Now Dustin Johnson's got a good record here, and Mickelson is one of those freakish up and down players who can do anything in the tough rough. So they're the four players that I've actually backed at this stage.
All right, I'm going to have a little bit on Adam Scott. Like you said, world number one, $13 there. Bet easy, great value.
Adam Scott, he's just fantastic.
Righto, there you have it now. Brad, what's your best on the day?
I'm going to go I'm cool in one of the, I think it's the first race at Ipswich, so I'm cool for me.
There's Lee Forster. Lorena?
I'm going for Gerald Ryan's Einstein.
Einstein, bit
Very
like
clever.
yourself.
Yes,
Iron Woman.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And Ben, your best bet on the day?
I'm following Lorena there. I'm going for Einstein too.
All right, and my best bet is black cash each way. Well, that's all we have for you for tonight. It's Ipswich Cup Day. Hope to see you out at Bundamba on a great day's racing. Thanks for joining us. Join us next week. Same place, same time. Bye for now.